Welcome to Reccast, a video podcast series about all things AI in recruitment, brought to you by Recruitment.
Hi, welcome to this episode of Reccast, the podcast series where we explore the use of AI in recruitment, looking both at the opportunities, ethical considerations, and pitfalls. I'm your host, Jussi Luhtasa, and with me I have my co-host and colleague, Miikka Tuomola. In this episode, we'll be discussing the intersection of AI, HR, and recruitment with our guest, Patrik Reman. Patrik is an experienced HR professional with expertise in recruitment, automation, and AI. He's also a recognized global top influencer in HR and recruitment. Patrik is an advisor and an author, and last year he published his recent book titled The Future of Human Resources, where he extensively actually covers how AI can help HR organizations. And I have a few questions around that. We'll dig into that. But to kick things off, Patrik, tell us a bit about your background. How did you end up in recruitment?
My background is from the manufacturing industry. So I didn't start in HR. I started with manufacturing. And I got very interested in processing and how to make people want to go to work. So that led to about 10 years ago, I started just doing HR work. And one of my first assignments was in a municipality where I got the job to start a recruitment team for the whole municipality. So that's when the real recruitment work started.
And you've been around quite a few municipalities, if I remember correctly, that you kind of seen the Swedish public sector fairly extensively.
Yeah, I have. I've been to 2 different municipalities, and right now, when I'm my own employee, I do a lot of work for many different municipalities, but also small and big organizations in every kind. So,
How would you say recruitment? I guess in specific, but in HR in general, how would you say, working for public sector, recruiting for public sector differs for recruiting for, say, larger companies, private organizations?
The main difference is that it takes longer time to change processes and to buy new systems. It's so many more laws and regulations for the municipalities and government. So it takes more time to make big changes.
Yeah. You have a very extensive background in developing HR, but like Jussi mentioned, you have also published like researches and some books as well. What are you working right now, or do you have something coming up, or?
Yeah, I'm writing books and research papers all the time. The problem is that you have to finish them as well. So. So I'm thinking if it's a bad summer with a lot of rain, then I will have some new books in the autumn. If it's a great summer, then no, maybe later.
Yeah.
Can we already ask about what the topic of the upcoming book will be?
Well, the topic is recruitment internationally for big organizations. What's the difference in culture and stuff like that? So that's what I'm writing about right now.
Sounds very interesting. Actually, it's something that we are working at Recruitment as well, like trying to find different cultural differences and so on when going to a new markets and so on. So really looking forward to that. If it's a bad summer, but of course we are hoping for the good summer.
Yeah.
You also have a fairly extensive, knowledge, and we talk about not only about Recruitment, but about different kind of tools and solutions to be used in HR. What's your kind of overall feel before we dig deeper into the whole topic of AI? What's your kind of overall feel of HR tech field in the Nordics at the moment? Do you think there are the tools that are kind of recruiters need, or is there kind of gaps you're seeing, or something else?
There are a lot of tools. The Nordic companies has been in the forefront for a long time with new AI systems and new recruitment systems that I think are really good as well. So, but you always find gaps when you try to make the best process for a recruitment for a company. They say, oh, here I should need this one, but you can't find anyone, or you can't find any system that has, like for Sweden municipalities, you need to have the system in Swedish. So that can be a problem as well sometimes, that the system is made for a global market and only in English. So then you can't use it in municipality, or it's hard for the users in Sweden to use it because they are not always that good in English. So, but I think it's a lot of new systems coming up, and it's really interesting now with all the AI systems coming as well. So,
yeah, if we think of a recruitment, like from your point of view, I know that you're mainly working in Sweden, but also with the international recruitment. So what do you see that are the biggest challenges in recruitment at the moment?
I think the biggest challenge is to know what you need, because people say, oh, we have a shortage of people, but then you have to think about what kind of people do I want to recruit, and what kind of people do I need to recruit. Because sometimes you have too high expectations for like education and stuff like that you really don't need for some kind of jobs. You can teach them live at your organization instead. So sometimes people make problems because they have too high expectations.
Yeah, and I think that that's something that we are moving more and more, or at least the organization should move more and more to the, let's say, finding a potential of the candidates instead of like trying to find really high quality professionals, or how would it say, but anyway, like trying to find potential instead of high decrease and all kinds of experience already. So.
Exactly.
Well, digging into the topic of AI, what kind of use cases? I know that, like mentioned, you've gone through a lot of tools, a lot of different tools. What kind of practical use cases have you already seen up until today for use of either some machine learning models or large language models or other AI solutions that are actually usable for recruitment use cases, say in Swedish municipalities, for example?
Yeah, I think AI can be really good in sorting the candidates, because as a human, you usually are quite bad at sorting people without getting biased and stuff like that. So even if some AI has built-in bias, it's the same all the time. So you can learn and change that bias. But in a person, you have bias all the time, and it could change from the morning to the afternoon, or from the beginning of the week to the end of the week. So I think AI could be really good in the first steps, where you have to sort out which people do you want to take to a personal interview. And I've seen some good user cases as well with different kinds of AI interviews. It could be chat interviews, or it could be some other kind of AI interview with any kind, really.
Yeah. And
also where the CVs can be screened by an AI and just match it to the description of the job, really. So
this is actually something I kind of skimmed through your book this morning, and I noticed that you were talking about different use cases. One was the kind of adding precision, using AI to add precision in talent acquisition. There was something actually came to my mind, a bit of a, I don't know, it's not philosophical, but it's kind of a bit of a high level question on the topic, kind of, because if you use AI to sort, or you have you talk about having a large volume of applications, and building AI tools to help the recruiter to go through it. Where would you draw the line of using a computer to help you as a person to make a decision, and where do you think the computer starts making the recruitment decisions? It's kind of, it's not a clear-cut line of where is it the supporting tool and where it's actually making decisions, but would be interesting to hear your thoughts and your views on this.
Yeah, I think the system should always be assistant to a recruiter or something, because the recruiter is always responsible anyway. So the recruiter needs to take responsibility as well for everything they do, even if they have a lot of different systems that do interviews or screening or anything like that. You always have to check everything as a recruiter. So the recruiter will still be needed, but they can do a lot of different kind of job than they do now. You can have more conversations with the candidates, and you can also have more conversations with the recruiting manager as well. So you get a bigger insight in what the candidate wants and what the recruiting manager wants as well. So you take away a lot of the administration from the recruiter and let them do what they're good at, the interaction with people, really.
I actually think that what you said in the beginning after Jussi's question was about the built-in bias in AI, but on the other hand, the bias which always is there if the recruiter is making decisions. So I think that it's super interesting actually that instead of kind of trying to get rid of the bias, it's like trying to learn how to live with the bias, because it's somehow always there, and that's super interesting angle on this whole topic.
And I think that the recruiter can learn a lot about when the AI does the screening of CVs. They can learn why if the AI does a screening and the recruiter does a screening at the same time, then you can also compare. Why didn't I choose this person? The AI chose this person, but I didn't. Why didn't I want this person? And you can learn a lot. What am I missing in the CVs and stuff like that? So it could always also be a good tool to learn as a recruiter as well.
Yeah. Do you think that in that exact use case, that if we think that there might be a recruiter doing the screening, but in some cases it's a hiring manager who doesn't recruit that often, it might be that they're doing like the only recruitment for the year. All right, at least I find it a bit risky for the hiring manager who cannot know how the AI behaves in this kind of situation.
Yeah.
So what do you think from the point of or perspective of an HR or recruitment team? How do we avoid then hiring managers on like dropping in the pitfall of AI bias?
Yeah, it's really important to know what kind of system you're buying as well, and you have to really try it and also check what kind of bias could be built in this system, because right now there are hundreds of new systems every day coming out for AI for HR, and if you just buy the cheapest one, then you never know what's built into this system. So you really need to check the system and try the system for some times and really see if is it a good system or is it just a cheap AI system that wants to make money, because there's a lot of bad AI systems out there right now, because everyone wants to make money now.
Exactly, and that's how you get also a lot of investments at the moment. You just mentioned AI and large language models in your pitch deck, but that's actually a good point, because also the new EU AI Act kind of requires that if you use AI for recruitment, you need to have quite a strong transparency in the process.
Yeah.
That's something for anybody who's developing software for that, because kind of, let's face it, a lot of the solutions, even ChatGPTs and these are quite a black boxes. You really don't know why it gives you out this input. And if you look at the kind of EU level legislation, you kind of should be able to explain why did this tool, out of these 1,000 candidates, why were these 50 selected and not the 950 others?
Yeah, and I've been trying a lot of different AI systems, and I always ask the system a lot of questions before I use it. Like, where do you get the information from? Why do you give me this answer? So you can check what data is it built on. And sometimes they just put all the research from HR into the AI, but the research doesn't say that this is the right thing and this is the bad thing. It's so different, the research, so it can have so bad answers sometimes. So it's really important to know what you're doing as well.
Yeah.
So I think for HR and for the recruiters, it's more important now to know why are systems doing what they're doing, but also you need to know that research in HR to know what kind of questions to ask the AI to get the right answers as well. So.
Yeah. How do you think then, if you think about switching a bit to the kind of thinking of your colleagues and co-workers, especially at the public sector, but how would you say the attitude of adopting AI-based solutions?
A lot of them are really interested. They want to learn, but I think a lot of HR people right now think this is going too fast. I don't know what's happening. It's a lot of interest, but I think it's hard to keep up. I have a hard time keeping up because it's moving so fast, and I'm really interested. I've been doing this for almost 10 years, working with AI. So, but I can understand if you're totally new to this, it's really hard to understand what you're doing as well. So,
do you see differences there between public sector and the private organizations?
No, not really. I think in the private sector, it's easier to try things. So I think some of them have a little bit of advantage, because if you work in a municipality or in some kind of organization like that, maybe you can try things at home, but you're restricted at work to try a lot of things. So,
yeah.
Then we had I was also noticed in your book, you were kind of starting to paint the picture ahead, kind of 2030, HR organization in 2030. Of course, we're interested in recruitment, but other topics are relevant as well. You talk a lot about onboarding and other talent and kind of the whole employee experience. But you want to talk a bit about that. How do you see that HR in general and recruitment in specific will be changing if it look a bit further, not just next year or 2 years ahead, but 3 to 5 years up to that 2030, which you painted yourself?
Yeah, I think a lot of things is going to happen, but mostly in analytics, because you have a powerful AI that can really go through all your old analytics and the new analytics and really see, if you put everything into the AI, you can say in 2015 you have this education for all the managers, and after that you can see that the drop-off rate of sickness and everything slightly were a little bit lower. So you should do this again, and you can have AI to go through all your numbers and everything from the company and learn a lot of stuff that you never could do before, because you had everything in Excel files and stuff like that. Now you can put everything together and see what should be a good thing for us to do. So I think that kind of automation in HR systems and HR will work a lot of with HR analytics, and also in recruitment. We recruited this person. How is the person doing now? How long does he stay? What kind of education do we need to have for this person in 1 year, in 2 years, or 3 years to make even a better job? And how should the manager be the best manager for this person? So it's a lot of things like this is going to happen. So I think it's you can have a great support for analytics, but also for the managers to know what to do as well. If you have a lot of people leaving the company just in after 6 months or 12 months, then you hopefully can have some analytics why this is happening. So I think that is the real future. But also my hope is that we don't have as much administration in 5 years. I'm hoping that AI should do all the administration in the future.
You mean all the kind of people-related admin functions?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Reporting and stuff like that. So everything should be automated. So.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that if you you have a lot of data and you are able to use a lot of data also in the recruitment process, like kind of go through the organization who has been successful in a specific role and what type of a person should we hire to have high likelihood to be successful there as well. I know that kind of system kind of already is there, and I think that we are going more and more to that you can also like start to predict also right away in the recruitment that who could be a successful, who would stay for a long time in the organization and do a good job. But that's again one point where it's a kind of a bias, high likelihood for bias that if you happen to have 3 person in the role who happen to be 40 years old white males, there is a risk that it can go there.
Yeah.
I don't have a specific question for this, but I just know that kind of things we need to consider when taking into use the new tools for that side of recruitment as well.
Yeah, it is. You should really be careful what kind of things you put in this. Like if you say, I want the same kind of person because these kind of persons are best fit, then you shouldn't have the age or gender or stuff like that. Maybe you should have their personality or what kind of education should you have. So it's very important to put the right things into the analytics and not the biased things.
That's quite interesting. Actually, we're going to be recording our next episode together with Bill Buriel, who is the CEO and co-founder of a company called Develop Divers in Denmark. And they've been building already for quite a while a software based on machine learning models where it's mainly about job ads and how do you write about the position, but they're exactly trying to tackle that. Yeah. How do you use machine learning and AI to, first of all, point out the gaps where you are lacking diversity, and then of course how you can change and fine tune your messaging. And I think similar kind of things should be used when you think about these kind of things when you are doing analytics. Hey, are you noticing that you are, because AI can be also, like you mentioned, very good at spotting different kind of biases. You're now only hiring these type of persons. Have you considered that only takes, there's a very small chunk of population, for example?
Yeah.
If we think of an organization who is not using AI at all at the moment, or probably in every organization, some people are using ChatGPT and services like that. But if you think of like a recruitment process or HR processes in general, and they don't have any AI, how do you advise that kind of organization to approach the whole topic?
I think that you should start with getting the staff interested in trying AI like ChatGPT or Copilot or something like that, and make it possible for them to use it at work, just to try out how can I use this in my daily work. So they get into the thinking of AI and what I can use it for. So I think that is a good start. And sometimes you need someone to come to the organization and tell them how to do this, because it's hard to just start. If you're a manager saying, well, now we're going to start to use Copilot, go ahead. And then how should we do it? So sometimes you need someone to help you start all this. So just get some help to get started. I think that's the best thing.
Yeah. If you allow, I know that you know our product quite well, Recruitment product. We're video recruitment solution based mainly on pre-recorded videos, short video snippets where you get to know the candidates without having to meet everybody face-to-face or online on one-to-one basis. How would you, if you would be in charge of our product development, what kind of an AI features would you build into our product?
I would build in the analytics part for AI. Like say, it's screening all the questions and make it like a point system for good or bad answers. But that also requires that the recruiters know what's a good answer and a bad answer. And I think that's really important as well. To make the recruiter think, why do I ask this question in this video? So it could also be help for the recruitment to, I want this kind of persons, what kind of questions should I ask? So maybe in your system you have an AI to help them. For this kind of job, these questions are good questions. And also, like I've been trying out for the last weeks, an AI clone of myself, both in video and sound. Amazing things, because then you can change it all the time, but you don't have to record video. Sometimes it's hard to get someone to want to record videos and stuff like that. But then you can have your own avatar of yourself just doing hundreds of questions for 100 different jobs in one day. So I'm a lot of into this with automation, like so.
Yeah, with automation, of course, you can build quite bespoke and tailored questions for the candidate. That's true. So there's that side of things. I agree, and we actually been experimenting with that. It's quite easy to build that, where you kind of have a bot giving you tips on what kind of questions you should be asking. That's kind of stuff where, for example, ChatGPT is actually pretty good at. I'm hiring a sales manager in Sweden. What kind of questions should I ask them?
Exactly. Yeah.
And also you mentioned the video clones of yourself. We've been trying some of those as well, and they're pretty impressive already.
Yeah, it is. I tried this a few weeks back, and I'm still developing it. But now I can see, did I record this video or is this the avatar? I don't know myself. It's scary in some way, because I don't know if it's me live or if it's the avatar anymore. Because now I have so many video snippets as well, so I don't know, is this original or what is this? And the sound is actually the same as well, so I don't know if it's my own voice or if it's well, the future is going to be different.
And what is quite useful, because you can also, I know Mika has been playing around with that you can also, one version where you can have different languages coming out. Even languages you don't speak, you can have a...
Yeah, I might have mentioned it in some earlier episodes, but I did a test with it. It was a free tool, and that it made it even more amazing because we don't even have to pay for it. But I recorded like a minute-long video, me speaking English, and translated it to Italian. Yeah. And it made my voice speaking Italian. I don't speak any words of Italian, instead only pizza's names I know, but anything else I don't speak. But it's like a proper Italian, and lip sync and everything is there. So you can basically imagine me being really speaking that, and it was really impressive. And I've been showing that to quite many people, and everyone has been like, "Wow, what's that tool? How to use it?" So they are impressive already.
It is. And think about the future. If you work in a global company and you are a recruiter in Sweden, but you have to make video questions for people all over the world, you can do it now.
Yeah, that's
no problem.
That's true. And you can still be the same person and asking the kind of, because content is important.
That also gives some kind of possibilities to outsource, like, for example, the video interview creation to some other countries, like have some kind of centralized organization doing that to all countries in the international organization. So,
how about the candidate side then? How far do you think a candidate who is applying for new jobs should take the use of AI and, for example, ChatGPT when preparing their resumes and applications?
I think most of them do that already. And, well, we as a HR and recruiters, you have to adapt, because people are going to use every kind of help they can get to get a job. So you just have to prepare for that. So the thing is, what should we ask for when people are applying? Should we continue asking for a personal letter or a CV? No, I don't think so. I think we should just get them to, are you interested? Click OK, I'm interested, and just put your name or an email address, and we will get back to you with like an chat interview or a personal test or something like that. Because the CV, you can find it, the AI can find all this information anyway, and the person that are applying can put that later in the process as well. So I think we should make it easier for the people that want to apply for jobs as well, because at the same time a lot of say, oh, we don't have anyone applying. No, because it takes about 40 minutes to apply for a job, and people don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You're just filling out the information you already have in your LinkedIn profile or somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think HR have to adapt to the new technology. So we have to change our processes.
Yeah, and of course that also puts a lot of requirements on how ATS is built their solutions. That how can you, as end users, as a HR manager, recruiters can kind of use the tools that exist out there. But I fully agree. It's kind of something that you need to have valid steps in the recruitment process, and I don't think writing a personalized cover letter is perhaps not a very valid step today anymore.
No, exactly.
Now we've been talking some time about the AI, but if we think again the recruitment, let's say market or the development direction where the recruitment is going, what do you think that will be the change, or how the recruitment will change? I know the AI will automate things, but are there any other things that you think that are coming up that we don't see yet? Or
I think the side of where we educate the people that are already working for us, I think AI could be really good at that, re-educate or anything for our employees, because today it's quite expensive sending them to courses or to have a lecturer coming to your organization. But with AI, you can teach exactly from your own point of view as well. If you have 10 people, they have different levels of education already, and you can start at your own level when you are going to a course or anything like that. So some people only have to refresh their memory for one day, and some maybe need 3 months to complete the education. And I think AI is a really great tool here to be able to educate your staff continuously.
I think we are starting to head to the end of our podcast. I think we always ask a wrap-up question from everyone. If Mika doesn't have anything else, I think it's time for that. So this is something we've been asking everyone. You kind of answered this already in your book and in your earlier answers, but I'm still going to ask you that. What do you think? Will recruiters be needed in 5 years' time, or will AI do all the job?
I think they will be needed, but maybe not that many, because I think they will do different things. So I think HR must also think about what kind of staff do we need in the future. Is it recruiters, or is it HR partners, or is it system developers, or whatever? HR need to think about that. But I don't think we will have as many recruiters in the future as we have now.
Yeah, but you still need somebody to build the recruitment process and manage that. I fully agree that.
I also think that as the AI and other new technologies will come there, I think, this is my opinion, but now in quite many organizations, all the HR systems are managed and even owned by IT. But I see that there might be a need for more like an HR IT, which there, of course, already is in the bigger organizations. But I think that even the smaller ones would need some kind of an HR IT person or department, because the HR tech will take a huge leap forward in
exactly
year.
Yeah.
And actually picking up on what Patrik mentioned earlier about the data stuff.
Yeah.
Having run personally earlier large e-commerce operations, we had a lot of people only designing and engineering the data side of things, so that we have what you were saying, that you have the data to be analyzed. It's the same for people. You need to have built those kind of data warehouses where you have all that people information, so you can do the analysis, Patrik, you were referring to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, but I think that it's been a really nice discussion so far. Would have been much more to come maybe, but I think that now we can wrap this episode up. So thank you, Patrik, for joining us.
Thank you.
It was a real pleasure to discuss with you. And thank you, Jussi.
Thank you.
And thank you all for listening this episode. Please subscribe to this Reccast in the podcast player of your choice. Follow Recrite in LinkedIn to see what's coming up. And thank you for listening. Bye.